Harvey Norman stores held their annual shareholders meeting in Sydney yesterday, and it was all good news. Sales up by 9%, shares at a record high, and Christmas on track to be a retail bonanza. And then, well, the shareholders meeting got interesting. Retail boss Gerry Harvey, 86 years young and apparently done pretending we live in a sensible world, decided to talk about the crime crisis. You know, the crime crisis, the one our politicians pretend isn't happening. Well, Gerry Harvey joked that if retail giants wanted to stop theft, they should let their staff beat up on shoplifters. He told the meeting, have a listen, it's a bit strange that you can go into Bunnings and all the staff hide and then you can take whatever you like. My best advice, he said, is when they, shoplifters, come in, hit them as hard as you can to give them a message so they don't come back. Now, he continued saying, I'd be very sympathetic to someone punching someone. Obviously, Gerry Harvey wasn't suggesting we turn aisle 4 at Coles into Fight Club. He later clarified it was metaphorical, but it was a point well made, Freya. It's time we got a lot tougher on crime. What do you think? Even as a joke, I think a lot of people would be sympathetic to Gerry Harvey.
I think this is fantastic, and I think you're also well within your rights to do so under self-defence. A lot of violent crime is happening in Victoria. Retail crime against shops is up 25%. Half of all Victorian businesses are reporting weekly incidences in their stores. This is at epidemic proportions. Clearly the police aren't doing enough, or they're just then going to release these people on bail. I do think, unfortunately, it's time that Victorian businesses take matters into their own hands. You're going to start to see more and more places with security guards locking things up behind glass cabinets. But if punching criminals is what it takes to get them to stay away, I say go for it.
Well, the alternative is you do what 7-Eleven just did in one of their stores and turn it into vending machines only. You'd have no staff whatsoever. I mean, make Gerry Harvey Prime Minister, for heaven's sake. It's just common sense. And this is the problem. And we saw recently there was a 7-Eleven worker, actually, somewhere in Sydney, and he was a foreign student. So a young fella doing a shift overnight in a 7-Eleven, and a bunch of teenage goons come in, and he tried to intercept them as they were trying to shoplift, and bang, he gets assaulted. Now, all he's doing is trying to protect the company that he works for and the profits of the company that he works for. And a lot of people would say, well, you know, you're just a worker, you're getting paid $25 an hour and the company's making lots of money. Why would you put yourself in harm's way? But funnily enough, there are conscientious people in the world that do want to look after their employers and stand up for what is right, which is that you don't steal things from shops. You pay your way like the rest of us. And Gerry Harvey, and it's a shame that he has to then clarify and say, it's metaphorical and it's a joke. Because deep down, I think he probably believes it, as well he should, because the rest of us do. That if someone comes into your shop and tries to steal from you, you should be able to punch their lights out because you've done the wrong thing and you've broken the social code. It's no use calling up the cops and saying, can you come around? I mean, the bloke's already absconded by then.
But one of my sons who's studying at university, he works part-time in a retail store, and he comes home often telling me about some kid who's gone in there and just in full view, without even trying to disguise it, just starts taking things and walks out of the store because these kids know the staff are allowed and they're told to observe from a distance. And then once they are certain that this person has left the store with stolen property, they are to tell management, who then notify centre security, who then arrive about 15 or 20 minutes after the event. And my son was telling me it's got to the point where staff don't even care now. It's just, I guess it's covered by insurance, and they're told not to get involved. And so I've watched my son. It started with frustration that people are getting away with stealing, and it's over time evolved into a shrug of the shoulders and, well, that's just the way things are.
How sad is that?
It's terrible.
That is the society we now live in. And I mean, companies are scared to do anything because if a staff member intervenes, staff member gets injured, that of course means you're down a man and you potentially have to pay compo and all these sorts of things. Or the company gets in trouble because the staff member goes too far according to the law, and so they get in hot water. And so as far as the companies are concerned, they're like, I'll just rid my hands of this and you know,
Which is very sad. I mean, I think it's probably getting to a point where there should be at least one dedicated person on every shift at any time that is armed with pepper spray or some sort of weapon of self-defense, because that is the state of things.